Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Leslie and I'm honestly so happy to see you guys again. Make sure you like and subscribe and you follow me on Instagram. Rest in peace, TikTok. I definitely want to talk about having kids in your 30s. This is something that is constantly being asked. When you're having kids, you're almost 30, your biological clock is ticking. I decided to post this on TikTok. And I'm gonna read you guys what I posted, and I wanna have an open discussion of all the comments that I received from women who have kids and from women who decided not to have kids. And I want this episode to open your mind and open your thoughts, whether you want kids or you don't want kids. I want it to be like an open discourse to see how women nowadays are thinking about having kids and their viewpoints and all that. I want you guys in the comments to have an open discussion about it, because I feel like a lot of people don't talk about these things. A lot of people just expected that by the time that you get married or hit a certain age, you automatically should have kids. People don't consider the societal factors, the financial factors, and just so many factors that we have as women nowadays. So the post says, one thing about being in my 30s is that you're still trying to decide whether you want to have kids or not. But if you ask me on a deeper level, the fear of not being able to take care of a child doesn't scare me because I know I'll be capable. But the fear of giving my time to take care of another human being is something I'm so not ready for, or I don't know if I'll ever be ready. A part of me wish I had all the time in the world to decide, but I also don't want to decide because of pressures of my biological clock and society. I'm also scared that when I'm ready, it'll be too late. So this is something I had personally shared on TikTok, and it blew up. I got so many comments of women just stating their opinions about it, and I want to dedicate this episode to read through some of the comments that stood out for me. And if you're feeling this way, I want you to have an open mind, and I want to share with you what these women are talking about. And I also want to create a safe space to talk about these things. Some of the comments that I received: I love having the luxury of being able to take a spontaneous trip or have a night out where I only have to worry about myself at my age right now. So that's something that, like, a lot of us women, we talk about the freedom that we have, the freedom to just book a flight whenever we want, or just the freedom to just do anything we want. I personally feel like that's like the heaviest portion of why I'm still holding out to having kids, because of the freedom. Another comment that I received that is from a mom: it really is such a commitment. Your time and energy are completely devoted to them, and it's exhausting. If you decide to do it, it's an adjustment, but so worth it. And I feel like motherhood is such a beautiful thing. Motherhood is a sacrifice, and I feel like the fact that it's a sacrifice, I am not taking it lightly when it happens, but it is also a scary thing too, because there are a lot of factors that come to it. And I feel like nowadays, when it comes to being a mother, we as women are more aware of so many things that we're giving up. As in back then with society, it was just like a given, like you have to do that, because we weren't in big careers. We weren't doing a lot of things. Before, it was just more get married, have kids, and that's it. That was your purpose in society. Now we have just so many different goals that it's harder for us to give that away. Another one: I don't see me regretting not having kids if I don't end up having them. If I ever do, is grow and fill my time with doing things I love and spending time with people I love. How could I regret it? And that's another thing too. A lot of people tell you you're gonna regret not having kids. And I don't like when people say that personally, because we all have different goals in our life. We all envision something different with how we want to spend our life. Not everyone sees children in their life, and that's okay. And I think it's a lot better when women decide when they don't want kids to not have kids, because I personally feel like the worst thing is to have a child when you don't want a child. I think every child that comes into this world deserves loving parents and deserves a life filled with love, happiness, and just everything good. And I just feel like it's very unfair when you're bringing a child to this world when you don't want it. There are women, and I know women, that to their core. They just don't see themselves as mother, and they're not gonna put themselves in that position. And you have to respect that too. I left it up to God, and I was blessed with an amazing husband that made me feel safe and loved. So I never stressed about it, and having our baby just felt amazing. Let things flow and let God. I know not everybody is religious. Me personally, I respect whatever anybody believes in. I love this, to be honest, because it's not only having a child, you also have to think about who you're gonna have a child with. I feel like if you're in a position in your life where you have an amazing partner and you decide to get pregnant, or you just get pregnant because you weren't planning it, but it's just life, having a supportive partner is such a huge thing. That's one thing, like I always say, it's not even about being pregnant. You have to be really picky who you get pregnant with, because it's a lifelong tie to this person. So that's something that I'm always hesitant about. I have an amazing partner, and yeah, if I were to get pregnant tomorrow, I'll be super happy, but not everybody's in that situation too. I just feel like if you yourself are thinking that, like, if you were to get pregnant, how your partner might feel, and you're not thinking good things about it, like you think that they're not gonna stick around, or you think that's something that they don't want, that it's just a no, it definitely is worth considering if you want to have this child or not, because that does play a huge factor. Like your partner, like you're not having this baby alone. You didn't create this baby on your own. It takes two to tango. This is an amazing comment. I just had my first at 40 years old, and honestly, I would have not done it much earlier. I am more financially secure to give my daughter what she wants and enjoy raising her. So a lot of times, like me, we're waiting longer, but we also have the fear of, if you wait long enough, you might not be able to. This woman is 40 and she had her first child. And honestly, anything is possible nowadays. It's just the fact of feeling pressured. The biological clock is ticking. You're 30, time to have kids, time to be married, all that stuff. And it's like, we have all of our 30s to get pregnant. Like I know someone that's 37 and she just got married and she's not thinking about having kids yet, and that's fine. Like that is so fine. And the fact that this woman is 40 and she had her first child, and I know the argument of some people that they're like, oh yeah, but like by the time like your child is like an adult, you're gonna be like old, or you might not be here. And it's like, you know what? You don't know that. You really don't know that. And yeah, there's a lot of factors with being an older parent, but there are older people that are just at their healthiest, and there are young people that they're not healthy. And it's just the way that you live your life at the end of the day. You'll never feel ready. It's something you just jump head first in, and once it happens, you can't imagine life any other way. I actually never wanted kids when I was younger, and it just happened. I feel like that's gonna happen to me, because if I were to decide I'm going to have it right now or to try, it might not happen. And I just feel I'm already mentally preparing myself that if it were to happen, it's gonna be okay. I feel like before I used to have a lot of anxiety of, if it were to happen, like my life's gonna like crumble and crash. Because to be honest with you, right now when it comes to having kids, I'm like 50-50. It used to be 80-20, 80 I don't want, 20 I do want. Now as I got older, it's 50-50. Me personally, I feel like I'm just starting out my career. I'm just traveling right now. I just moved out of my house. I'm like pivoting in my career. So there's just so much that I want to do. But a part of me is holding on to like faith itself. And I feel like personally, God's timing is always right. He has the perfect timing for everything. The things that I've witnessed in my life personally, it's just his timing is just perfect. So if it were to happen to me, or when it happens to me, I know that, okay, like I'm being put in this position because I'm ready. God thinks I'm ready, so I'm gonna be ready. It's like we're the same person. I'm considering freezing my eggs at least, which doesn't completely resolve my feelings and fears, but at least I'll feel less unprepared in a way for when I'm ready. So that's something that I've thought about too. If I do need to freeze my eggs, I did the Monarch fertility, and it says that I was fine with my AHC. I think it's called like the ovarian reserve, I'm not sure. But basically it counts how much eggs you have left or how fertile you are. The older you get, the less fertile you become. So it told me that I was normal. That was like a year ago. I don't know much about fertility in terms of freezing your eggs, like the financial cost of it. But if you are considering freezing your eggs, I think that's something that you should consider if that's something that you want to be already prepared. But yeah, if I do end up doing it, I'll definitely keep you guys posted, because that's something that I've thought about considering, but I haven't really made the moves to do. I'm gonna put trigger warning before reading this because this is very sensitive. Finally found this side of TikTok. I've had 8 miscarriages and I don't know if I want to get pregnant again, but I do relate to this because of my miscarriages. I will be 28 soon. So that's a lot of things too. I've never gone through miscarriage, but if I were to go through it, I just can't wrap my head around it. It is a lot mentally to have hopes up in having a child and then it not happening, and just going through like the emotional roller coaster. And I feel very sorry for this person because it's heartbreaking. You spend your whole life thinking when you have kids or when you try to have kids, you'll think about it, or you don't think anything bad's gonna happen to you, and then these things happen, and then you just have to sit with yourself and maybe decide, am I able to have children or am I not? It's just a lot emotionally. Even me talking about it, I've never been through it, but I know people that have gone through it, and for them to even try again, it's even harder because you don't want to get your hopes up again and just go through that same emotional roller coaster. So I really do feel for women who have gone through that, and it just breaks my heart because it's always the women who want it the most that they just can't catch a break. I always think for women who want children the most, they should be the first ones in line to have kids. It's definitely just not fair, especially after having to give yourself a job 5 days a week. Then I fear we are beginning to regress as a society around work culture. For example, the return to office and sit in hours of traffic. So that's another thing too, when it comes to like work culture, it's just not very forgiving for mothers. We have to bounce back after 3 months and go back to society and go back to just being normal the time that we're giving at work. If you're someone who overworked yourself and did extra hours, they're gonna expect that from you. And it's like, you can't do that anymore. And I feel like some workplaces don't have compassion when it comes to mothers. They don't have compassion to parents. They're just like, okay, well, you're a parent, so you're not gonna give us that full focus and full time that we are expecting somebody younger or somebody that doesn't have a child. But it's like, that doesn't mean anything. So it is something that I do hesitate, because I personally do social media. I work for a women's wellness brand, and they are very about women and for women, so I don't think I'm gonna have a problem there. But the amount of work, the amount of time that I'm gonna give to this company, it's gonna be different. It might be a struggle at first because you're juggling, you know, being a mom, and then you're juggling this new schedule of like having to take care of a human and going back to working 40 hours a week. So it's a really, really rough adjustment. I understand why women stay at home the first year, which is definitely a privilege because not every woman has that privilege to just stay home. That first year of a child is just crucial, and the amount of sleep that you don't get, the adjustment of your health too, like everything just changes. Like, you're not gonna keep going to sleep at 10 o'clock at night and wake up at 6 a.m. when you have a newborn. Like, that does not exist at all. So it really is the work culture adjustment, like the career. And if you're in a career that you travel a lot, you're not going to be able to do that because you can't travel with a newborn. So there's just a lot when it comes to going back into society as a mother, and I feel like as Americans, they do not cater to that at all. This comment really like shook me. My dad said to me, it would be extremely sad if no child got to experience you being their mom. So now I'm more afraid of not being a mom than being one. And it's not even the fact of taking care of a child, the actual child itself. I personally feel like I'm very motherly. I used to want to be a child psychologist, so I worked in childcare for basically the first half of my young adult life. And I worked in aftercare, and I also did like after school care and stuff like that. And I've seen it all. It's the fact of like emotionally and physically giving your life to another life. And I know myself, I know that I'm gonna be an amazing mom. Like, I know, like, there's no questions asked, but it's just the fact that like it's the freedom, right? And it's like, you know that when the time comes, you're gonna be like super mom. But it's also, it is scary because it's so much toll on a mother to take care of a child, because you're just worrying constantly 24/7 of this human being. And you have to, because that's your life, that's your everything. And that comment of this person saying, it would be extremely sad that no child got to experience you being their mom. It's like, yeah, because every child deserves a super mom, an amazing person taking care of them, and just, they deserve the world. And then being told that, it's like, I know I'm gonna be a super mom, but I don't know if I'm ready for it. Like, it's just, it was a sweet comment, honestly. I'm gonna leave it with this last comment. As someone who waited until she was ready, don't force it. I'm 34 and pregnant. I battled for years if I wanted kids or not. Now my husband and I are over the moon excited for this, and we planned it. So obviously we love to plan everything. That's just literally everything in life. And if you plan it and you have it, beautiful. And I just feel like that's just the nature of life. Nothing is like set in stone. I feel like overall we have to have a lot of these conversations, because there's just so many factors right now when it comes to having children. And if you are someone who are still on the fence about it, it's good to have these open conversations with someone you care about, or just even overall with the women in your life, because just seeing different perspective and seeing how other women feel, I don't know, it just makes you feel not alone. When I posted that post, I did not think that I was gonna get an influx of comments. This post blew up. I think as women, we have to keep talking about it, and we have to bring that awareness, bring that support when it comes to women having children, even women having children later in their age, and not feeling pressured to have children. Our parents, especially like Hispanic parents, the minute you get married, they're just like waiting and waiting and waiting. I think about my parents getting older and wanting them to be in the picture when I have my children. So that's another tough conversation too. Like when you have older parents and they might not be here when you decide to have kids. So you feel that pressure of, okay, I want to experience motherhood with my mother. Like I need my mom with me to help me, take care of me, give me the guidance. Like I need that like support. And her being an older person, you start to realize, oh my God, what if she's not in the picture? So you feel rushed, right? You feel rushed from the biological side, you feel rushed from your family side, you just feel rushed overall, and you're just like hoping and praying to God that when your time comes, everything that you need is there. I feel like everyone has their own timeline. You can't really compare yourself to all your friends and family when they're decided to pop out kids, get married. When they decide to have these big moments in their life, it's so hard to not look within yourself and tell yourself, be worried, should I already start thinking about getting married and have kids? I think you have to just focus on your relationship and your life and your needs, and tell yourself, what do you want in your life? Don't look at what your friends are doing. Don't look at what your family wants. Don't look at what anybody on Instagram or online tells you. Or you tell yourself, what is it that you want? How do you want to live your life? How do you picture your life in the next 5 to 10, 20 years? How do you want to live it? What do you want to do? And take the steps to do it. Because at the end of the day, we are creating our own family, our own little life. Everyone else is just an extension of it. You want to make sure that every night when you go to sleep, you are happy with your life. And if you don't have that feeling currently, then you have to change it. So worry about yourself. Don't let anybody tell you what you need to do with your life. Look within yourself and tell yourself, what do you want in your life? and then just live it, right? So thank you for watching. And if you made it this far to the video, add an emoji in the comments, preferably a little pink bow, just to let me know that you watched throughout the entire video. Make sure you like and subscribe, follow me on Instagram, follow me on Pinterest. And yeah, I hope to see you guys next time. Love you guys. Bye.